morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out to today's Global Caste Awareness Day. Your presence here means so much as we gather to raise awareness about caste discrimination, a deeply entrenched issue that still affects millions worldwide. First, I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the Jersey City City Council, as well as Council President Joyce Watterman and her aide, Sierra McDonald. Your commitment to promoting equality and human rights in our community has made this gathering possible. I would also like to recognize and express our deepest gratitude to the Global Forum for Communities Discriminated on Work and Descent, the Association for Dalit Women Advancement of Nepal, and the Ambedkar International Mission for their invaluable assistance in organizing today's event. Thank you for your support and dedication to this cause. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from several remarkable speakers representing reputable nonprofits that are on the front lines in the fight against caste discrimination. These organizations are doing critical work, whether it's providing education, supporting marginalized communities, or advocating for policy changes to dismantle the systems of oppression. We will also hear from speakers representing other communities discriminated against on work and descent, leaning into the true spirit of awareness and recognition. As we move forward, let's all keep in mind the power of collective action and how each one of us can contribute to a future rooted in justice, equality, and dignity for all. Once again, thank you for being here, and I hope today's event not only educates, but empowers each of us to take meaningful steps in addressing caste oppression. Now, we'll have a video played just to understand the kind of general and just raise awareness about caste discrimination. So if we can play the video, and then afterwards I'll pass it on to Council President Watterman.
Caste-based hierarchical systems in different parts of the world. This type of discrimination is pre- and post-colonialism, and is rooted in the idea of purity and pollution. It manifests in practices such as casteism, untouchability, slavery, and anti-Gypsyism. Discrimination based on work and descent is a unique form of inequality, where individuals are targeted not based on their appearance, but on their ancestral heritage and profession, unlike racism, which is about hating people because of their skin color and looks. Discrimination based on work and descent happens among people who are alike in some ways. These communities face a range of discriminatory practices, including restrictions on social, economic, civil, political, and cultural rights. They are also subjected to notions of purity and pollution and are excluded from civic amenities, such as education, health services, urban infrastructure, and access to justice. The discrimination faced by these communities often leads to violence, including assault, murder, rape, and false cases, especially when they resist discrimination and assert their rights and entitlements, be it Roma in Europe, Quilombolas in Latin America, Dalit and Murakuman in Asia, or Heritage in Africa. The members of CDWD are often subjected to violence where they demand their rights and entitlements. Women, children, and members of the LGBTQ community of CDWD are most vulnerable. However, these communities are fighting back and demanding their rights, including access to education, fair representation in the government institutions, the end of slavery and discrimination, and inclusion in policy making and legal systems. They also demand access to financial resources, health services, and the right to own land and access to political participation and power. Let us stand in solidarity with these communities and work towards a world where everyone is treated with dignity and respect, equality and justice, regardless of their work and descent.
Good morning. It's a good morning, right? Well, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to really give kudos to my intern. Ishan is my intern, and he's such a remarkable young man. When I met him, he started sharing all the different works, all the different interests that he had and his contribution to really his community in so many various ways. And so part of what I do, I try to be a voice for equality. I'm really strong on that. I believe everyone should be treated fair, regardless of your race, your gender, where you come from. And so I was talking to him, and I spoke to his mom, and I met his mom, and we was talking about various things that go on. And I was familiar with the caste difference within the community. And so I spoke to his mom. I said, I'm learning more about the caste in the United States because this is really not like a United States born issue. Whereas where I come from, my ancestors was born in this country with racism and slavery. So I didn't know that much about the caste, situation for those coming in from various countries. And so I began to get more enlightened, meeting different leaders of the Nepal community, and they're educating me exactly what caste is. And so when I spoke to Ishan's mother, and I said, well, why don't you create Caste Awareness Day? Because there are so many people in this country who don't even understand caste, and it is a form of discrimination. And I know in this country we do have laws that come against discrimination. But if there is no awareness that there's a group of people who are facing discrimination in a way, then we can't fight for it. That's why this day really is an important day. And I really want to give really kudos to my intern. I have to, because he's a young man and he wanted to do it. And he put the program together. He did it and he partnered with the women organization to get this done. So that lets us to know, yes. So that lets us know that our children are listening. And that's important because the children are our future. I have a granddaughter. I have about 4 grandkids, all right? And I speak to my oldest one who's 21, and then the youngest one is really 3. And my hope and my dream and my prayer is that as they grow older, that they will not face the discriminations that I had to face. And the only way that can happen is as we educate our children. And when we educate our children will carry on that mantle to make sure that there is no discrimination. So that is why I really have to give honor to Esau. I have to give him honor. And I made sure that there was a resolution in the city of Jersey City. I'm losing my voice. I've been out all day and I got to be out all night. In the council, you use your voice so much, so that's why my voice is a little hoarse. But nevertheless, I meant to make sure I was here. But what we did a resolution. And I want to read some of the resolution because it's really given to him. Because, like I said, when young people stand up and say they want to be a part of something and they want to put awareness on it, that lets me to know that maybe one day, to be perfectly honest, we all will be free. So just to read some of it, it says, caste-based discrimination violates human dignity and equality, creating extreme exclusive and dehumanization will affect communities experience severe socioeconomic disadvantages and deprivation of rights. Caste discrimination descends race and religion, affects communities across Asia, Africa, Middle East, and including the US. Caste practice in the workplace, housing, healthcare, and education minor broad day-to-day discrimination against Africans, Middle Eastern, women, and others both in their homes and high learning have studied caste discrimination impacts. Whereas Jersey City is the home of the diverse population, including Africa, South Asian, and Middle Eastern communities, recognizing that caste discrimination limits opportunities and freedoms for some residents. Jersey City is committed to fostering an inclusive environment, recognizing the eliminating of caste discrimination as essential to its residents and well-being. Ishan, a high school senior, Jersey City Hall intern, he led this effort, raised awareness of caste-based discrimination globally. He was supported by the Global Forum of Communities, Discrimination, and Work Dissent. He's associated with Dalit Women Advancement of Nepal, a nonprofit advocating for Dalit and marginalized people of Nepal, support Jersey City efforts. Whereby, let it be resolved that the Jersey City Council declare every September 21st as Global Caste Awareness Day and encourage citizens to support efforts to eliminate caste in all forms of discrimination. So I want to say congratulations. Let's continue to make awareness to it. And this day is always will be as remembered in City Hall as Caste Awareness Day. And Eshaw, your name is here to make sure, because like I said, I like to encourage the young people because they are our future. I just pray that one day we all really will be free. God bless you. Come on, Esau, let me give you this. I'm telling you, my voice. Here you go. Want to take a picture? Okay. Congratulations. I see you at work again, right?
Yeah, of course. All right. Thank you so much, Council President. It's always a pleasure hearing you speak.
Hello, everybody. Nama Bodai and JB. My name is Ishita Suratale, daughter of Nitin Suratale and Karuna Suratale. As Ishan said, I'm a rising senior at Monroe Township High School in Monroe, New Jersey. Today, I've been given the absolute honor to talk about the immigration of South Asians to the US and the ongoing fight against caste-based discrimination, rooted in the legacy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar, born into the Mahir caste, also known as the untouchable caste, in 1891, faced severe discrimination growing up. These experiences of discrimination propelled him to seek education both in India and in the US. This education led him to empowerment of prestigious institutions. He recognized the caste system as not only a social hierarchy, but also a systematic force of economic and social oppression that dictated one's opportunities. His rejection of caste culminated in his conversion to Buddhism in 1935, which symbolized his quest for equality and dignity. As a principal architect for the Indian Constitution, Ambedkar enshrined principles of justice and inequality, aiming to dismantle the caste system's deep-rooted inequalities. Today, the immigration of South Asians to the US brings these issues to the forefront. Many immigrants carry the scars of caste-based discrimination, facing stigma and exclusion, even in their new homes. Despite legal protections, the caste system's legacy persists, highlighting the need for continued advocacy and education. Modern movements for social justice echo Ambedkar's vision, emphasizing that confronting caste is not only a legal battle, but also a societal one. His journey reminds us that meaningful change requires courage and collective action. Let us continue to honor Ambedkar by challenging caste-based discrimination wherever it exists, ensuring dignity and equality for all. Thank you so much.
speech. So now we're going to have Vishnu Mahapariyar, who is the founder for ADWAN, the Association for Dalit Women Advancement of Nepal, and also the commissioner for the New Jersey Governor Murphy. So round of applause, please.
Namaste and good morning, Honorable Council President and everyone. Thank you for coming here today. It is my honor to say, and very proud to say that I have been working with the Council President for more than 14 years since I moved to this city, and I'm so proud that I'm the member of this very beautiful city, and this city has done so much for Nepal and other country. This city creates the history also. I want to tell something to Council President, remind you something today. Remember last year when I came to you and JD, we had meeting about the, passing the resolution about caste discrimination, and you look and your assistant look, and there was a policy already on the state level, and you were saying to me that let's wait, we'll pass the resolution, we need to finalize that, we need to see that if we can still do. And I'm so glad today that since we talked last year, and because of the young, very smart Ishan, it is possible that we are getting the resolution, and we are creating the history. I'm saying that this city created the many history in the past also, because of the council president. We create the women advisory board here. We never had before. And she's not only the council president, she's the best friend of the immigrants. And I would like to thank you for everything that you have provided to the immigrant population. And this is the huge thing. This is the milestone for Dalit, that you passed the resolution today. And I would like to thank all the council members and even the mayor full of that, creating the history to pass this resolution. This is incredible. Before that also, this city created the history about raising the flag of Nepal. First time our flag were raising on the top of the balcony for 7 days, and we had big, you know, crowd here, and the mayor was here. And also, this city created another history that we signed the sister city with Nepal. And I was so proud that I took the lead. And the council president was our very big supporter on that also. And when we had big earthquake in Nepal, we lost so many people, individual life. And this city is the only city first time they passed the resolution about the TPS, temporary protected status. After seeing this, other city also passed, but this city passed 2 times. Again, council president took the lead. And thank you so much for doing all this incredible work and as Nitin ji is here, and also this city first time passed the resolution of the Equality Day for Ambedkar birthday, right? And it's been second year that we have been celebrating. That means, caste system is not only in our country, like caste system is here in the United States also. Council President came to ADWAN's 25th anniversary, and she spoke, and there were so many speakers how they were discriminated here because of their last name, because of their caste. Even in New Jersey, people, Dalit could not find the apartment. We found many people that they were fired from the restaurant because of their last name, because of their caste. I'm sure today's program will open many people's lives here, and I know council president will speak about this issue in many places where she gives speech. And this is not only the problem of Dalit. This is the problem of everybody, because this is creating the division among the people, creating the conflict. So that's why we must work together to fight against it. And Paul sir is here, and we have Ishan did not mention. I like to mention that we have the press advisor for our Prime Minister here, Govinda Pariyar. He is the press advisor for the President of Nepal, Prime Minister of Nepal. I know we have global leaders, youth leader Pradeep Pariyar, and we have so many people here, but I cannot tell everyone's name. And thank you so much for coming here to our beautiful diversity and to celebrate this beautiful day. Thank you, Ishan, again, and keep continued your hard work. Okay, we are here to support you. And I forgot to tell one thing about Ishan. Ishan is artist. He teach people how to scratch and how to paint. He raised teaching to kids. He raised $2,000 and he gave to ADWAN. So now, just last week, with his money, we are supposed to provide uniform and school materials for 500 needy kids in Nepal. Thank you so much, Ishan, and you are the rising star, and I know that you will go very high. Thank you so much, and thank you, Council President, for passing this resolution. We will do this every year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vishnu, for your speech. She was certainly right. There are so many people who made this possible, and I just can't begin to thank each and every one of you. All right, so next up, for our next speaker, we have Bina Palikal, and she's from the Global Forum for Communities Discriminated on Work and Dissent. So a round of applause, please.
Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim. I think that's important when we start. It gives us so much energy. A couple of decades ago, a young boy went to school but was not allowed to sit inside of the school. He studied sitting outside of the school because he was Dalit and was not allowed to enter. He later became the person who drafted the constitution in India, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and our hero to whom we look up to. If it wasn't for his willpower and if it wasn't for his strength to say that it doesn't matter, even if the teacher is not allowing me to sit in the front row, I'm still going to sit there and get an education, we wouldn't be here today. A lot of us wouldn't be able to have access to education. It's because of him, and he paved the way that we are here today. We stand in a land that was built on slavery, and we all know that. And the other heroes of mine is Rosa Parks, who sat so that we could run. She came onto the bus very tired. She was a seamstress. And the driver asked her to go to the back of the bus because the front row seats are only for the white people to occupy. She refused to go. Many people thought she was tired out after her work of, doing the seamstress work. But actually, she said she was tired of giving up. She was just tired of every time getting up and moving to the back of the bus. She was just tired of saying. So she said, today, I'm just tired of giving up. And she stood up for the rights so that all of us here in this country, many of us who have the freedom, and then of course the laws were changed, the whole segregation, there were I think around 17,000 African American who marched with her to oppose the segregation law. And today, we are standing in a country that is free of that. But I think it's important to remember the message that Dr. Ambedkar or Baba Sahib had given us, that we must educate ourselves and we must agitate. And I think he would be proud, don't you think, if he was here today, to see young people like Ishan, Ishita, and others who are taking up the caravan of the dream that he had. the dream that, we will sit in an equal society, a dream that he had, that doesn't matter where we come from, but we are all human beings and deserve of dignity and equality. I think that dream is being fulfilled today when we see young people take on the baton and take on the caravan of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. I won't take much time because I know that there are many other speakers. But I'd like to just end with a saying of, again, Rosa Parks, and I'll change it a bit. She said that racism is still with us. I would say racism and casteism is still with us. But it is up to us to prepare our children for what they have to meet, and hopefully we shall overcome. And I want us to also remember that in a country where I come from, almost 50,000 crimes against Dalits happen every day. And just yesterday, I was thinking of a little boy who went to school on an ordinary day, thinking, it's his right to go to school, was thirsty, went to the pot where the water was kept, and went to take water from that pot. And his teacher saw it. And because he was Dalit, and because he couldn't touch the pot, the teacher beat him to death. As a country, in India, we have just allocated a budget, a huge budget, several $1 million for the space program. We are investing so much in building the country into a developed nation, while many of our young children are still facing discrimination and still are not even able to drink water from a pot. Let's remember that while we celebrate, and we would like to take the message of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and many other social activists who have come before us on whose backs we stand. I want us to remember that little boy and the dreams that he must have had. Maybe study in Columbia, maybe come here and become a scientist, maybe join NASA. He must have had several dreams, but just by a click of beating him, they killed his dreams, and along with that, several young dreams that probably I myself have seen in our work of the National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights in India, where I've gone to villages where children who are children of sanitation workers don't want to go to school because they're afraid that they'll be beaten up. I was so angry. And I said, how can you not send the children to a public school that is like 2 minutes walk from your house? And they have told me very categorically that our children have tried going to school, but every time that they went to school, they were beaten up because they said, you don't belong here. Your mother or your father is working with dirt, who is a sanitation worker, is going down the gutter, and they don't deserve to be here. I think we have to do better than that. I think we have to challenge both our governments, we have to challenge councils, we have to challenge policies, both at the country and global level, that we must ensure that all children have an equal right to education, to resources, and a right to dream. Thank you. Jai Bhim.
Jai Hind. Salve. Opere Roma. Uhulu. If I'm not missing anything else, but I'm sure Paul and Veena would cover those topics in much detail in the later talks. But on behalf of Dr. Ambedkar International Mission, first of all, let me thank you, the Honorable Council President Joyce Watterman, Honorable Mayor Stephen Fulltop, the City Council, and young members like Ishan and all others who has made this day very possible in Jersey City. Some of you may not know, this is the third time we are celebrating April 14th as Equality Day. April 14th is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's birthday, and it is being observed as Equality Day in Jersey City and a few more major cities in USA, also all over the world. First of all, thank you very much for all the members for taking this battle. Now the next thing is on September 21st is the Caste Awareness Day. Now caste is well known in South Asian communities, if you see. it's not new factor for the South Asian communities, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so on. But now what is happening is with globalization, more and more South Asians are traveling across the world, and when they are coming to USA, they are carrying the caste identities with them. And it's not only carrying the caste identities, they are carrying the false pride associated with the caste hierarchies and so on along with that. And with the Dr. Ambedkar International Mission, as it is available in almost 20-25 different countries, we have noticed a similar pattern in all over the world. Wherever you see the South Asian communities, and now with Mr. Paul Divakar's efforts, it is other communities are also getting associated where the discrimination related to birth and descent, caste discrimination based on work and descent is getting highlighted more often. Talking particularly in USA, as Dr. Bhavesa, as AIM is associated with some of the students' organizations, you will be shocked to know that the Ruggers University Students Association, the undergrad students have published a 62-page report on the caste issues in Ruggers University. It's not one or two, it's like a 62 pages, and most of the students have identified themselves with the some or the other way of caste-based oppression. You can read it through their testimonies. Not only in Ruggers universities, a similar pattern you will find it in other premium institutions in USA. You can go through the testimonials that has gone into the California, Seattle, when we did the caste as a protected category in those cities. There are few, some of them you will notice that, a PhD student who is doing a PhD student, his funding has been stopped only once the, caste identity, they identify themselves with the caste. So caste is right here in USA, even though it's not getting highlighted so much in the news and other channels, it's already there. And similar to India, it's like in India as well, you will find, you open any newspaper, you will find one or two atrocities related to caste in the newspaper. Caste is like it's like a norm these days. You will find that in matrimonial, you will find that when you go to the school, starting from the school, colleges, you go to the professional jobs, governmental jobs, judiciary, media, everywhere you will find caste as a factor that discriminates to the within the community. Luckily, in India, we have the adequate laws to protect against them. It's a different ball game altogether, whether the laws are not being implemented to the fullest. But at least there are some laws that are there to protect caste-based discrimination. Unfortunately, globally, because the South Asian community and the other communities are traveling globally, now the caste has become a global issue. And it is important to create the awareness about the caste-based discrimination all over the world. And that's where this important day of the Global Caste Discrimination, Global Caste Awareness Day comes in picture. Now, why students, why young members like Ishan is more important to take up this battle is only because young students are more assertive. They have a different view of looking into the issues and dealing with the issues. The other day when I was driving and I was just trying to cross the orange light, yellow light, my daughter stopped me. Hey, no, don't do that. You have to stop. And that's the example how young people look into the issues and they try to follow the laws. That's the reason it is important that the young members, we have to support the young members, particularly those who are taking up the caste battle here in USA. And that's why this day is very important. And rest assured, Dr. Ambedkar International Mission, all our members are there to support this issue. And once again, thanks to Council President and the City Hall to take up this battle here in Jersey City. With everybody's presence, let's take this caste issue as well as the discrimination based on work and descent in USA as well as all over the world. And let's not be this is the first caste awareness day. Let's make it as every caste awareness day, and hopefully one day we'll see that the caste awareness programs will be conducted in every schools and colleges so that the students are prepared to when they go to the colleges and when they are prepared to go into the jobs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nitin. And listen, he was certainly right. Caste issues are so deeply entrenched and so tethered to our identity that it truly does follow us wherever we go, and it's truly inescapable, which is why I thought that it would be a good idea to hold this day, especially in Jersey City, a day that does pride itself on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Anyways, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. And so our next speaker is Arav, who is a sophomore at J.P. Stevens High School. So round of applause for him.
Good morning, everyone. So my name's Arav. I'm a sophomore, like Ishan said. So caste is a social system that has shaped Indian society for thousands of years, dividing people into rigid hierarchical groups. These divisions, known as castes, dictate everything from one's occupation to social interactions, with little room for mobility between them. Those at the bottom of the caste hierarchy, known as Dalits, or like the video said, untouchables, have endured centuries of discrimination, exclusion, and exploitation. This system has created severe inequalities that continue to impact millions of people in India to this day. In this context, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, more widely known as Baba Sahib, stands as one of the most powerful voices against the castes. Born in 1891 into a Dalit family, Baba Sahib faced the harsh realities of caste discrimination firsthand. His experiences of being denied education and treated as an outcast ignited a lifelong mission to dismantle the oppressive caste system and secure equal rights for all. An important milestone in Baba Sahib's journey towards uplifting Dalits and other marginalized communities came with the founding of his newspaper, Muknayak, in 1920. Muknayak, meaning the leader of the voiceless or ignored, a medium for communication was essential. Muknayak brought the everyday struggles of Dalits into public view and encouraged them to unite and fight for their rights. It exposed caste-based discrimination in education, employment, and social spaces, calling attention to the deep injustices of the time. This platform was critical in laying the foundation for social reform. Through Muknayak, Baba Sahib not only informed the Dalit community, but also inspired them to organize and advocate for themselves. It built a sense of community, empowering Dalits to challenge the social norms that had oppressed them for generations. But Baba Sahib's influence wasn't limited to journalism. He was also a key figure in the fight for political reform. Baba Sahib is remembered for his role as a principal architect of the Indian Constitution. As an advocate for social justice, he ensured that the new constitution guaranteed equal rights for all citizens, not just regardless of caste, but also for gender and religion. His vision was clear: an India free from caste oppression, where all individuals had the right to dignity and opportunity. Baba Sahib's book, The Annihilation of the Caste, is another cornerstone of his legacy. In this revolutionary work, he argued that the caste system was inherently unjust, and that true equality could never exist in a society where people were assigned roles and rights at birth. He challenged not only the caste system, but also the religious and social structures that perpetuated it. Moreover, Baba Sahib believed in the power of education and self-respect for those. He urged them to rise above the limitations imposed on them by caste, calling for their social and economic empowerment. His own educational journey, from a Dalit child denied access to school, all the way to earning degrees from prestigious institutions abroad, exemplified the transformative power of knowledge. In a bold move later in his life, Baba Sahib converted to Buddhism in 1956, publicly rejecting the caste-based practices of India. His conversion was a message of liberation, encouraging millions of Dalits to break free from caste system's grip. In conclusion, caste remains a deeply entrenched issue in India, but Baba Sahib's life and work laid the groundwork for a more just and equal society. Through Muknayak, his constitutional reforms, his writings, and his advocacy for education equality, Baba Sahib fought to dismantle the oppressive structures of caste. His legacy continues to inspire movements for equality today, like the ones presented today, reminding us that the fight for justice and dignity for all is far from over. Thank you, and JP.
All right, thank you so much, Arav. It's glad to see another fellow high schooler like me and Ishita here. All right, so next up we have Joyce from the Global Forum Brazil. So round of applause, please.
Good morning. So my name is Thais. I'm from Brazil, and I speak in solidarity with the communities. In my country, there are also communities that suffer discrimination, such as the Quilombola community. And Quilombolas arose from enslaved people who fled and began to form their own communities in search of freedom. And to this day, they suffer from issues related to land ownership, discrimination, difficulty in accessing education and health, and often persecution, especially of their leaders. And these communities play a fundamental role in protecting Brazil biomes. In the midst of severe fires that are happening in Brazil at the moment, Quilombola communities are the most preserved, which attracts the eyes of many who want to take possession of their land. And I would like to thank you for the opportunity and reinforce that moments like this are very important for creating awareness, coming together and proposing solutions to overcome inequality and injustice. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so next up we have Queen from the African Global Forum. So round of applause, please.
Uhuru! Uhuru! You are not responding. Uhuru! That is a shout from Africa. Thank you so much, Ishan, for this a great initiative, and thanks for all those who supported with this. When I hear the stories, I'm so happy because it gives hopes. It triggers me to go back to Africa to tell to the youth of the communities in Newark Academy that we should cry no more. But it is a time for us to stand up and request what is rightful for us. It is a time for us to actually get up and fight for our rights. When I hear Bina talking and also all what we are sharing, it's like Asia, Brazil is deported to Africa because they are the same issues. I would like to share here some few cases in Africa on caste-like hierarchies and the issue of untouchability. In a country called Ghana, there is a community called Frafra, where young boys and men. There is another community in Cameroon called Ngoda, where they are animal carcass removers and grave diggers. It is known and alleged in the country that having a physical encounter with them is contagious. So we see to what extent the issue of caste as an untouchability has an impact on the life of our communities and youth in particular, because they are the one doing the job. In Ghana, in the Gambia, a particular community is forbidden from getting into the schools. Their children don't have access to the same schools like another group called the nobles. They can't even go to the same worship places. They can't even get to social amenities and other opportunities because of the fact that they are regarded as slaves and from the low caste. This goes to the extent of them having separate yards for those they are located the names of low caste and regarding themselves as nobles. Recently, in 2017, a family from the so-called nobles in Mauritania decided to adopt a young girl from the Aratin community, our community. And after submitting her to several rape and getting pregnant, they sent her back to her family in 2023. And the father is still crying for justice for this young girl. And there is no justice because he's simply from the so-called low caste, the name they decided to give to us. In the also community, same as in Ghana and in Togo, We have the troposi practice still going on where young girls between 12 and 24 are submitted to a shrine to serve a priest for the entire time of their young age. We are talking about youth. We are talking about youth in Niger who are submitted to masters as sex slaves. And even children born from this encounter with the master, the fate and the future of these children is decided still by the master. The youths are the one going through all these atrocities. Globally, in Asia, in Latin America, that is the same case in Africa. And I still have the belief that these youths have the potential, and we just need to fight back to unlock this potential. It is important for them, the youth of our communities, to have equitable access to quality education, vocational training, financial inclusion, cultural identity, leadership and civic engagement, economic empowerment, and access to justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your speech. So next up, we have Simona from the Roma community. So round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, JB Mopreroma. It's very nice to be here today with you. I'm a Roma from Europe and I represent the Roma community. The Roma originated from Punjab region in northern India as a nomadic people and entered Europe 18th to 10th century. And the European population used the ancient word Atiganoi to refer to the Roma because they were perceived as the untouchables, somewhat related to the Dalit community. Roma were also perceived as heretics because they were practicing a different type of religion, non-Christians, but they were also highly associated with sorcerers, witchcraft, and fortune telling. This perception of the Roma as the others has severe implications, also catastrophic implications, I would say, for the Roma community in Romania, because for 500 years, Roma were enslaved in the Romanian territories. So 500 years of slavery. And this practice of slavery, because of the descent that Roma community had, was also done in cooperation with the Romanian Orthodox Church. And we have seen that every year this type of form, even nowadays, is not acknowledged, is not recognized. The Orthodox Church refuses to take any responsibility or to acknowledge their cooperation with this type of system. And this acknowledgement, I mean, we still hope that the Orthodox Church will apologize and will acknowledge this type of practice that they have been part of, but also we hope that important steps are going to be taken for reparations and reconciliation. Unlike other minority groups, we Roma do not have a homeland. We are part of many countries in Europe, but we don't have a homeland, and we are vulnerable to discrimination, social exclusion, marginalization, poor well-being. And this is a practice that is persisting since we reached Europe, to say so. And similar to other communities also that my colleague Queen presented, but also the speakers before me, there are still practices that Roma don't marry non-Roma people. Roma children are segregated in schools. There is obstetric violence against Roma women or even subject to forced sterilization. They are denied many basic rights, to say so. But most often, or a practice that's still happening, is that discrimination against Roma, it's a well-accepted practice in Europe. Roma experience discrimination when looking for employment, housing, because of their family name, as we have heard before, but also because of being Roma, because of the work Roma communities do nowadays. Maybe not manual scavenging, but most of the cleaning jobs, waste collection, all the that are affecting the well-being of the community. So we are denied these basic human rights, and as I said, victims of racist attacks, hate speech, and different forms of discrimination. But we have strength in numbers. We are about 20 million in Europe only, but also a significant number of Roma diaspora, Latin America, North America, and also Eastern Europe and the Middle East. I'm very grateful that I'm here today. I want to express again my solidarity, and I hope that we can work together to eliminate these forms of practices, anti-gypsies, castes, and many as such. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I just want to say something like the past three speakers, it really does bring me joy to see representation, not only from our Dalit community, but from communities globally, right? It gives the meaning, like it gives a new definition of the media community, and it shows us that we can really lean on each other's shoulders in like times of need to feed into our collective ambitions. And so I just want to call up Vishnu again because she would like to say something. So.
Sorry, I forgot to bring this before. I have been, serving as a mayor's advisory board here for 3 terms, and since Ishan is doing so incredible work, we wanted to give him from the city. We wanted to give him this small citation. Can you come? So this citation is from all the council members here. So they will not be here, and I'm handing to you, Ishan. I know we don't have time, so this is very nicely written. So do you have time to read or?
No, we can.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Greetings, Jai Bhim, Opera Roma, Uhuru, Salve, and Lentai. Lentai is the Buraku community's thing, and really appreciate Nitin for really taking that. My thanks to the City Council, especially the Council President who is here, and Ishan, and ADWAN, Vishnuji, and others. There are 2 things. Because it's an internal meeting, I think I must share this. We are all fighting against the discrimination that we as a community face. Definitely, I'm a Madiga from Andhra Pradesh, and I have suffered several forms of discrimination. And it is not just only me as a community in Andhra Pradesh, but Baba Saheb has taught me that across the country, irrespective of the divisions within our community, those who are discriminated, we have to reach out. So I think that is really Baba Saheb's thing, whether it is Mala, Madiga, Mahar, Chamar, Valmiki, and all the kinds of monks and others. Right? Because it's an internal discussion, I want to just stress this. And that is big issue in a country, of course, one of the largest countries in the world. Yes, we have several thousands of communities within us. But following these principles, and if Baba Sahib was here, I'm sure he would also tell us that don't only be concerned about the identity of Dalits, who at some point, because of the great sacrifices our grandmothers, our grandfathers have following the footsteps of Baba Sahib and several others, he would say, hey, you're not the only one. There are several other communities, same principles, because of one's birth and because of the forced work that has been intergenerationally pushed on their shoulders. They are keeping the whole nations, the communities alive, by keeping the cities clean, the urban areas clean. We do the entire sanitation. Our household will drop if the work as domestic people, domestic help that they are doing, if we are not doing that, houses will collapse, marriages will collapse, right? At the health, in hospitals, we are the people who are helping the nurses and doctors in most of the places, mind you. In the mortuaries, it is our people who are doing it. Not just here, across the world. Whether it's in Japan, mind you, with the Buraku communities. Such a developed country, you have those systems. Whether it is anywhere from Ireland, UK, and all France, and all this Eastern Europe, and Ukraine, and Russia, you have communities maybe emanated from two hubs. One hub is the South Asian hub, and the other hub is the West African hub, who have gone to Latin America, and we have been dismembered. I use this word, people don't like it. We are dismembered and we are thrown across for the last generations on generations. And we are trying to come together, remembering us. We are trying to come. And there may be certain inequalities among us. Like, I don't think if Simona comes to India, we will see her as a Brahmin because she is a very fair colored. Or if Nitin comes to India, he will also be, nobody will think he's a Dalit. We think that fair is a Brahmin. But we may be different colors, we may be different features, my lips may be different, my hair may be different. But we have been excluded and we have pushed. And I would like to acknowledge my thanks to Ishan and to the City Council. I must recognize Deepti ji. I don't know where she is. She's there behind, really pushing this. But all of us in the families, in the youth, really to bring this issue to the fore. And with the support of Ambedkar International Mission, with the several others, the Asia Dalit Rights Forum, the Africa Global Forum, the European Roma grassroots organizations, and CONAC, Confederation of Kilambola organizations at the national level. We are also bringing this to the UN, that UN should make a resolution building a frame for protecting and promoting the rights of these communities. So your support is really needed because it's not enough just one small framework is passed by UN and sits in the paper. It is these awareness campaigns and these demands that are coming from the communities are really important, and I think we should take this message. We try to involve other communities from Africa who are here as diaspora from the CDWD communities, but we were not able to do it. But next time when we are doing this, we should have an equal number of Roma, equal number of Haratin and other communities, and equal number of Kilambola communities, leaders celebrating it together, because it's celebrating the diversity and the strength that we will not allow any system, any culture to push us down. We are more than humans because we are so resilient that we have so much to offer to the culture and the nation and across the world. So thank you very much, and thank you, Ishan, and thanks to the council president and all of you for making this a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. I actually do agree with them. Next year, hopefully, we should definitely get more representation, equal parts, to truly celebrate our diversity. So, as we come to the end of the Global Caste Awareness Day, I want to take a moment to sincerely thank each and every one of you for your presence, your engagement, and your commitment to this cause. Today's discussion would have been both powerful and inspiring, and they remind us that change is not only possible, it's already happening. I would like to once again thank the Jersey City City Council, the Global Forum for Communities Discriminated on Work and Dissent, the Association for Dalit Women Advancement of Nepal, and the Dr. Ambedkar International Mission for their immense support in making today a true reality. Your efforts have allowed us to come together and amplify the voices of those who are too often silenced. To our incredible speakers and the nonprofits they represent and their communities, thank you for your invaluable contributions and for sharing your work, your stories, and your visions with us today. The work you are doing is crucial, and your tireless fight against caste discrimination lights the way for a more just world. But as we close today's event, I encourage all of us to remember that this is just the beginning. Today's conversation should spark action within our community, within ourselves. It is through our continued efforts, large and small, that we will dismantle the barriers created through caste oppression and create pathways towards equality and opportunities for all. Looking ahead, let us hold on to the hope that brought us here. The hope for a future where every person, regardless of their birth or background, is treated with dignity and respect. A future where caste discrimination is not tolerated, but rather eradicated, and where solidarity and justice guide our way forward. Together we can build this brighter future. Thank you once again for being a part of today's event and your ongoing commitment to this fight. Let's leave today not only inspired, but determined to continue the work until caste discrimination is a thing of the past. Thank you so much.